Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another Make It With Me Monday. Hope you all had a really nice weekend. If you were able to celebrate, or if you do celebrate Easter, I hope yours was lovely. We, of course, had a nice, pretty nice day yesterday, and then we have snowflakes again today here in the Madison, Wisconsin area, and I really could kind of do without that. It would be nice to see them go away permanently. Just wanted to give you guys a heads up. When I send out catalogs, I always send one to myself, so I kind of have an idea of when they're out, and I did receive this in the mail end of last week, so it's from me to me, which tells me that if you were on the mailing list for the new annual catalog, it's probably on its way to you if you don't have it already. So I would say by the end of next week, if you don't have one and you think you should have gotten one from me, give me a holler and I will make sure that you get one before the catalog goes live on May, I always forget the day, it's never the 1st, so May 3rd. All right, so let's go ahead and get started tonight. We're going to do a pretty simple layout tonight. Here's what you're going to need. You want a piece of cardstock that is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. Oh, good, Karen. I'm glad yours is out there already. Great. Hi, Kathy. Good to see you tonight. I'm going to be using pale papaya. And then in that same color, you wanted another piece that was 1.5 by 5 1/4, and a piece that is 1 3/4 by 2 3/4. All right. Then you want 2 pieces of designer series paper, and you could have decided if they were the same or coordinating or whatever you wanted to do. You want one piece that's 4 by 5 1/4 and another piece that is 1 1/4 by 5 1/4. I'm using pieces from Expressions and Ink, and these are actually from 2 different sheets, but they do coordinate really nicely because you'll see that pale papaya flower kind of carry over through all of it. Alrighty, and then we have one little piece of neutral cardstock which we're going to put a phrase on today. And that's a 1.5 by 2.5 piece. And then you needed to have some kind of phrase that you wanted to fit inside of that. If that turns out to be too big for what you want, you can always trim it down. And then I would trim down the coordinating cardstock piece as well, if you want to make that look layered properly. And then if you want to have a thin ribbon or twine handy, we'll dress up our card tonight with just a little bit of that as well. All right, so let's go ahead, grab your phrase. I'm going to be using on my on-camera one and in, hi Jessie, good to see you tonight. The ones that are my samples, I am using Celebrating You. It's a really nice set of verses, covers a lot of occasions. You've got Mother's Day, Father's Day, Easter, birthday, a wedding type of phrase, an anniversary phrase, some really generic ones, thank you, congrats, etc. So it's a really nice versatile set, and I like, hi Mary Lynn, good to see you tonight. I like the combination of fonts that they put in here. I think this is a really nice one to add to your collection. So this one's going to appear on all of my samples as we go through tonight. For my on-camera sample here, I'm going to have a Wishing You a Happily Ever After. So I'm going to add this to my stash of wedding cards. If I ever, let's see, I don't know if they actually have any weddings on the docket so far yet for this upcoming summertime. All right, so I'm also using Pale Papaya ink. I'm going to go ahead and, pardon me if my head gets in the way, I'm going to put that right in the center of my rectangle there. And I know it's a little bit pale, obviously pale papaya, but you should be able to see that a little better when I hold it up to the camera. All right, so go ahead, get your phrase done on that piece. And we're going to grab our coordinating cardstock that should be just a little bit larger and go ahead and mount that on there with your adhesive. And it should border pretty evenly all the way around there, like so. All right, set that off to the side. Now take your 2 pieces of cardstock, the cardstock and the DSP that are the thinner size, and we're gonna put one on top of the other. The length is exactly the same, so they're only gonna border on the left side and the right side, if that makes sense. So you're gonna match it up at the edge and take it up to the other edge. Okay, so that goes down pretty quick and simple. Your card base, of course, we're going to fold in half on your score line there. I'm going to grab my bone folder and give that just a little bit of an extra crease. Now your large piece of designer series paper is basically taking up the whole focal piece of this particular layout. So I love that we can put our paper to use and show off. It's all pretty colors. Now, one of the fun things about this particular Designer Series paper pack is it has these gold accents that go throughout. So there's these pretty greens, there's the papaya, and I have to double check what color the purpley one. It might be the freesia, but really fun sets of color. And I love the gold foil accents that run through this pack. And that is in the annual catalog, and so is Retiring. I did check, and it is still available in the store. So if you love this particular pack of DSP, you could still grab it. Now here you can decide what you want to do with this piece here. You can have it more to the left, you can have it more to the right. You could do more in the middle, but I kind of like the idea of it being to one side or the other. And at this point, if you're going to do your ribbon all the way around this piece, I would recommend maybe popping it up on some dimensionals, depends on how thick your ribbon will turn out. So I am going to grab my pale papaya ribbon. Oh, there we go. And I'm going to cut a piece that's just going to be able to go around here and tie in a knot. So to guess a length, I usually like to hang off a little bit on the edge, wrap over, and go to the other side about the same distance. And that's usually what I cut off. It gives me enough to tie a knot, a decent double knot, and then have a little more to trim off at the end if I need to. All right, so I'm going to go ahead, just tie a simple knot around that. I've had butterfingers all day today. I've dropped things, I've thrown things. It's just been a really, I'm going to blame it on the weather. And that somehow that icky, snowy, dismal gray out there is affecting my coordination. All right, so I have just a simple knot up here. You could obviously do, have a little bit longer piece and do a bow, whatever you like. Now this is a pretty flat piece because it's that real sheer ribbon. So I'm going to go ahead and just tape mine directly down. Again, you could pop this up on dimensionals if you want to have a little bit of lift to it, but you certainly don't need to. So some here, down, and I'm going to go ahead and do this one on the left, and I'll show you some other samples of varying position with my other extra pieces. Now this piece I'm going to do a little bit on dimensionals. I like the way that it just lifts off a little bit. So here again, you can do here, you could do a little bit higher, wherever you think you like it. I kind of like the balance of going this direction. So I'm going to go ahead and do that towards the lower corner. Just grab my dimensionals and pop them up. So I mentioned earlier in the post that if you invited someone to join us tonight, and whether they watch live or they watch later, no, Kathy, Sun Prairie is definitely not very sunny today. That is for darn sure. I'm still staring at snowflakes out my window. That's not making me very happy today. I did mention that if you wanted to share the link for tonight with a friend and have them join us for some nice inky fun time. So again, live or later, if they watch this later, that's cool too. But have them leave a comment that said, you know, they were invited to join, and I will pop a little something special in the mail to both of you. So I hope you had the opportunity to extend that invitation. You still could, because there's going to be a link to share later. You still could obviously invite someone to join us on these Monday night times. I'd love to get the community growing a little bit larger and sharing all of our fun with others. All right, so there is my basic layout. So there again, like I said, just quick and easy. You let the DSP do all the work for you in this one, and all you need is a real simple phrase. All right, I'll leave this here while I go ahead and show you guys some other samples. This one, I used the, excuse me, the Heart and Home Designer Series paper, along with the Freesia DSP from just the color pack. And I have the fresh Freesia ribbon, same as this organdy ribbon here. And this time I did my tag, more of like a tag kind of concept. I put that up there. That one's for Mother's Day. I went back and used that All Together Designer Series paper I've shown a couple of times, all the black and white patterns. And what I did with this one, I flipped the neutral idea here. So I actually have a piece that's black and I stamped and then embossed in white so that that would stand out as you went through. And this is the black glitter ribbon in the annual catalog. I thought this was, like I said, this is a really nice and easy layout that you can do. Pick your DSP, let that shine for you. So here you can see it's kind of the opposite of what I did here. It's on the right, it's actually up a little bit higher. So you can play with that particular layout of stuff any way you like. Then I grabbed the Hey Sports Fan, and I've shared a few samples of Hey Sports Fan already. I picked some of the greens. This time a lot of it is very based in the blue color because there's a lot of baseball references throughout. But this is the evergreen and bumblebee. And so I highlighted the evergreen here too as well. It's got the evergreen chevron ribbon. We've got a Happy Father's Day message there. Okay. And then this one, I went ahead and I kind of altered the layout horizontally. This is actually using the Waves of the Ocean Designer Series paper. That's a special edition right now. Most of that pack features the blues and teals and turquoises of things that you think of when you think of ocean colors. But then a couple pieces on the opposite side have these corals and yellows. And I think it's just a really fun, different way to look at some of that. So this is the Wave of the Ocean. And then I used the coral from the paper pack of the family colors. I went ahead and actually colored some ribbon of the crinkle cut seam binding ribbon with my coral blend, and that's how I got the coral ribbon. I like to change that up sometimes, especially when we don't particularly have necessarily a ribbon or something like that that matches what color scheme you want to be using. Remember, you can take our white-based parts quite often and color them as you need to. All right, so there was my on-camera sample, and here's my stepped-up version. Let me get these out of the way so we'll kind of focus on these two for a second. I really decided to let the gold foil pop through on this one, the gold accents I should say, because by adding gold foil to the layout. So besides the papaya layer, I have just a little bit of gold foil showing. I did a little paper saving option on this. There's a lot of gold foil that could get wasted because you really don't necessarily need something to be this wide. So each of these strips is really just a little teeny cut that I put down each side. And then there's a gold foil layer behind here. And I swapped out the papaya ribbon for the gold shimmer ribbon and added one of our little brass butterflies. So just a little bit of a stepped up by using some of that gold accenting that flows throughout that DSP, really kind of bring that out. All right, everybody, so there are all our samples from tonight. I'm really glad you guys got to join me tonight for another Make It With Me Monday. I can't believe we're on episode 60 today. It just seems like, wow, I can't believe it's gone. It does not feel like it's been 60 weeks, that's for darn sure. Bright Mirror, the gold is just really awesome. It really pops off that, that expressions in ink paper. I love the foil accenting throughout that. Really, really fun. All right, I can't wait to see what you guys have made with this layout. So please, please, please share your samples, either in the post with the supply list or the video link, anywhere that fits the theme of what we've done tonight. Please feel free to share those. And again, share that link to have somebody join you if you like. And if they let me know that they've visited, I will send a little gift out to each of you guys, thanking you for joining me. All right, everybody have a great rest of your Monday night. And hopefully next week I can tell you that there's no snow outside of my window and that we actually have some real spring headed our way. So, all right, everybody, thank you so much again for joining me, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye now.